I know it's a two-part question. How did you get started, and how did the technology take it to the next level?
Those are great questions. As far as how we started, I will try to keep this story as short as possible. Okay. I will put it into a nutshell if I can, because it is rather long. But myself and the partners that I had at the time, we actually started Dialed Up Games to create board games, and we had started developing a board game called Lie, Detect, Dare, and essentially what that was the game of Truth or Dare. Gotcha. That had a deck of cards with it, akin to Cards Against Humanity. And it had a real working lie detector as well, 93% accurate. We ended up having one of our engineers develop this and test it, tried and true, to be honestly as accurate as any polygraph that we had ever studied leading up into it. So extraordinarily accurate. And what that did is made for an extraordinarily fun party game, drinking game specifically. But so we had finished the design. We finished everything actually modeled out, and that was ready to hit the shelves. And then I think it was the day after we went to the shelves with it, COVID happened. And by happened, I mean it happened in the States, and the lockdowns began. So to do the lie detector, you actually had to stick 2 fingers into these little probes, and that's how it measured. It was actually by sweat and pulse, but both. Yeah. So anyways, multiple people being in the same room, not ideal for COVID. And then all of you putting your fingers in the same device, obviously not ideal for COVID. So it was crushing to us, because we put so much. I mean, when I say so much, we put our everything into this design, into this game, into the entity that was Lie, Detect, Dare, and the umbrella being Dialed Up Games. We even started developing other games while that game was moving on. But either way, so COVID happened, and we had to make an intelligent business decision. And all of us being gamers, we had multiple meetings, 10, 20 meetings going over, what our options were. After we sat Lie, Detect, Dare on the side, we put it on the back burner because it was just not right. There was not the right time for the market. And that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. So through a series of events, we realized that a tournament platform would be the best. So this is actually, and I think this is going to be interesting for the people who watch this. So the modality in which you see now on the landscape of tournaments, that landscape didn't exist before we were here. So Dialed Up Games is actually the first one to ever do this, which is that platform is so oversaturated now. It's almost unbelievable to say that, but this particular tournament modality never existed before we entered the fray. So I guess to give credit where credit's due, between myself and the partners, the decisions that we had made at that time ended up changing this industry, exponentially. So it was an interesting choice that we had made at the time. But so we started the tournaments then. The kill race format we adopted shortly thereafter. And now that was question number 1. Now question number 2, to be long-winded here.
Sure.
How did the technology help us move forward? I personally wouldn't give the credit to the technology necessarily. I would actually give the credit to the design work, the graphic design work, and then the marketing. So our ability to market this company, and also our ability to design it, I think were the 2 things that helped us be the leader, remain on top, even as we've seen, literally hundreds of these pop-ups that were copying what we were doing.
So new one every hour on my timeline, on my Instagram timeline.
You can thank us for that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. You're welcome.
But not all are created equal, As you said, it's hundreds of new tournament hosting sites, Warzone or Battle Royale hosting sites out there. But, what separates Dialed Up Games from the rest of the competition?
What separates us?
Yes.
I guess I'm going to put my ego on the shelf here.
Let's
and
do it.
Say,
I like it.
Yep, because we're the best. We we pioneered this modality. It exists because we exist. So the decisions that we make on a daily basis literally change the landscape of the design of the tournaments that you all see on your news feeds every day. We are the cusp of that. So, it's very easy to notice this trend, but when anything changes, for example, here's a great example. When we decided to move into divisions, we made that decision, which was a very scary and bold decision, but a phenomenal decision to make. It was not maybe 3 or 4 days later than our main competitors, if you will, immediately adapted the divisions scheme to their tournaments. So why are we? What sets us apart? We set ourselves apart because we're at the cusp of it. We're at the apex of the mountain that everyone is kind of trying to climb up. So I know there's ego involved there, but and I guess to leave ego out of it, I also have the best team as far as esports are concerned. I have the best team around me that exists in this space without a shadow of a doubt. And
I didn't know that, and that's one thing that got me into actually having enough gall, enough cojones, or enough nuts to actually step into the competitive arena with Warzone, was because we had divisions. It's a waste of time for me jumping into a tournament, and I know that it's a guy like youngsters or gangsters in the lobby or in that same tournament on the same team. It's a waste of time if you have a 6 KD and I'm down here. My team combined, if we're playing cards, we're maybe over, just slightly over a 4 or maybe under a 4.
Right.
Combined KD, that is. And man, salute to dialed up games for that. Salute to y'all, man. Like, salute to the team. That changed everything, actually. That's, man, we getting real game here from Jordan Johnson. Dialed up games.